and they've won this tie. TSS Rovers have done the unthinkable. A magical night at Swangard Stadium. David versus Goliath, and David prevails. Remember the scenes, it's one for the history books. And it's not a fluke, it is thoroughly deserved by Burnaby's TSS Rovers. They are on to the quarterfinals of the Canadian Championship to meet the winner of Pacific and Cavalry. At full time at Swangard, it is TSS Rovers 1-3, Valour 1.
What did we just witness tonight? I hope you stayed up in the East Coast. We know you're watching in the West Coast. Hello, everyone. Welcome back inside our One Soccer studio. Andy Petrollo, Jordan Wilson, Gareth Wheeler. For the first time in history, a semi-pro team has defeated a pro team in the Canadian Championship to move on. We know back in 2019 when it was still a two-leg affair, Vaughan Azzurri in the second leg had defeated Halifax Wanderers 1-0, but they lost the first game 3-2. They do not move on aggregate. This is the first time a semi-pro team has defeated a professional team. And Gareth, it was an emphatic victory as well. This wasn't a squeaker 1-0. They had a 3-0 lead until the very end. Valour pulled one back, 3-1 your final. What did you make of the overall performance?
John Herdman was in attendance tonight. Did he go into the room and give the boys a motivational speech? Because I feel like they could have played another 90 minutes and the energy never dipped, the belief never dipped. This is exactly what the Canadian Championship needed. This is exactly what the Canadian Championship should be all about. We have seen Canadian Premier League teams upsetting MLS teams. This is the next part of the evolution of Canadian soccer. Players from League 1, a developing, model across this country, going out there and showing their worth and their value. There are great players scattered across this country that just need the opportunity to show what they're all about. I love it. I kind of feel personally attached to a certain degree. A lot of these players played CIS, U Sports, the Canadian University Soccer, because they were either overlooked, a professional opportunity never came their way, perhaps the opportunity to go to a U.S. school. They've done it the hard way. And tonight, they go out and not only prove to their community or the province, they prove to the entire country that they belong. Good on them. Honestly, it's just an incredible effort. Do you want to stand with me? I'm going to give him a standing ovation here tonight. Sorry about the jig. I'll give TSS Rovers a standing ovation. Amazing.
They were dialed in for 90 minutes. Like, I'm looking at Ali Zohar, I'm looking at Kyle Jones in the midfield. These guys were up for the challenge the whole game. Yep. Like, Ali had a phenomenal game. I was watching this midfielder, didn't tire. This is the first game of the season. You need at least maybe 3-4 games to get your legs under you. Box to box, controlling the tempo. I'm looking at CPL teams as a drafted boy. He's from Vancouver Whitecaps Academy. Phenomenal performance from TSS Rovers all over the pitch.
Eric Edwardson, we can go through the list.
We could literally
of players.
Semenko in the back, number 17. He was sensational tonight.
But it was individual, but it was a team too. They played together. They were well organized. This was a deserved victory.
Well, and that's what I was going to say, because it is obviously very impressive that, again, a semi-pro team, but the end of the day, they haven't played since August. I mean, what does that say about this team being able to pull together? I know they've had a longer preseason, but it doesn't matter what you do in practice. It's completely different when you get in a game. Valour, of course, has had their preseason, and they were able to get a game in. But this is a team that has not played together since August. Are you impressed by what they were able to do out there and look like this cohesive unit given all the time that they've had off?
I'm impressed, and they've won me over. And what sticks out to me is that there's chemistry within the squad. These guys like each other. These guys will run for each other. These guys work for each other. You look at the 90 minutes, it wasn't perfect football. No game is ever perfect. But they rolled up their sleeves, they ran for each other, and they took those moments. And we've been talking about it for the past 48 hours, about getting those chances. But you have to take them. You have to be clinical, Wheels. And this TSS Rovers side was that today.
They won 3-1, and they missed a penalty. It could have been more here. And look, it's not just since August, Andy. League One teams, semi-professional teams where players are students, they're professionals, they have day jobs. Like, this isn't number one priority for some of them in their lives. Like, there's turnover in these teams as well. There's turnover from the team that went on to win League 1 British Columbia last year as well. So the fact that it is a brand new team, like, look, it's not as much of a gap because Valour's only played one game. Like, this is very much the start of Valour season. It's not like Laval playing MLS Montreal last night, a team that's been playing for 2 months. But still, it's just an incredible accomplishment. And how can you not watch that tonight as a Canadian soccer fan and just think about where this tournament can go in the future? Unbelievable.
Well, let's bring in TSS Rovers manager now,
there he
Will
is.
Cromack. In your own words, can you describe what your team was able to do here tonight?
I'm getting a whole bunch of, like, radio sounds in the
Well,
back.
never.
About the first thing that's gone wrong for him tonight, to be honest.
Somebody stepped on the cable during the celebration, perhaps, and that's why. But we'll get Will on because he's always a great quote here. But again, you know, this is a team that's done something really special here. But as much as we've said when we were watching Vaughan Azzurri and Laval take advantage of your chances, it seemed like Valour wasn't able to close the door on a smaller team in this particular instance. They allowed TSS Rovers to take advantage of their chances. The longer a minnow can stay in a game, is that when you start to go, okay, now Valour's in trouble?
Absolutely. I think, though, TSS Rover, the ebbs and flows of this game, they grew into it. They got momentum, and they were like, hey, this is our chance. It helps, obviously, scoring a goal, then scoring another one, and you go into half like, hey, look, there's two ways you go into this half. Are we going to park the bus, you come out in the second half, or do we have the bravery to go after it? And I'm so glad that they did that and rolled up their sleeves and went for it in the second half.
And not just that. The longer you hang around, of course, you're going to get more belief that you belong. And they weren't phased. Like, Valour wasn't creating anything. There was belief within the team. But the fans supporting them, great crowd tonight. They deserve a whole lot of credit. The pitch, like, that grass was long. That game was slow. And it catered to their strengths. Valour's used to playing predominantly on turf. Like, the ball moves quickly. All of their passes, Valour's passes, like, all of them, there was too much left on the bone. They were too slow, and you know, not hit like hard enough, not precise enough. So the conditions played in their favor as well. So they got everything right tonight. And we said it at halftime, they created the better chances. They created the better chances on the night. So we'll discuss Valour later, but this is a TSS Rovers success story. And like I said, like, if you're the winner of, think about like the battles that are going to be going on in League1 B.C, League 1 Quebec, League 1 Ontario, League 1 Alberta now. When you know that you can get this kind of platform and you can go out and knock out a side like this, there's belief, because the Canadian Championship for years was like, well, which MLS team is going to win it? Like, now I think we're evolving to a much different place.
And I know it is one game, but you're right. We've had these conversations where CPL teams have defeated MLS teams before in this championship. It's still been an MLS team that's always won the Canadian championship, but we're having the conversations of, can a CPL team dethrone an MLS side? Given what TSS Rovers have done now, when you look to next year, because obviously the other semi-pro teams are already out, but does it give them that belief?
It should. Watching this performance tonight, it absolutely should. This is a dream start. And the way that this team rolled up their sleeves tonight, I'm just so impressed.
And they're not done. And guess what? In the next round, they're going to play another CPL team. They're going to play either Cavalry or Pacific.
Not easy opponents.
But still, they beat one Canadian Premier League team. You beat another. Maybe you can play the Vancouver Whitecaps. Like, look, we've experienced this, Canadian soccer fans, watching the FA Cup, where like non-league teams or Division III teams well down the ladder go on and create these upsets. Like, they're not that unusual in the FA Cup any longer. But here, as we build out this competition, more teams, more possibility for upsets. If you're not at your best on a night, you can get knocked out in an unceremonious way like they were tonight. But let's not mince words. This wasn't a TSS Rovers team hanging on for dear life. They were the better team on the field tonight, and that you don't see often.
So that brings me to my next question, because now if you're Valour, obviously you're out of the Canadian Championship. Your CPL season has just started. Take us into a room. Like, what is it that you feel needs to be said to you? What is it that you would say to your teammates to make sure that a game like this, a result like this, doesn't translate and kind of have you hiccup along the way now in the CPL?
This is a lesson learned and a bit of taste of vinegar. It reminds me of when I swore around my grandma and she made me taste vinegar. I was like, hey, you better stop that. You get this early in the season. There's no more CAN champs. Got to focus on the Premier League. But look, this is about a team tonight that was slow, horrible in transition. Center backs didn't defend, didn't communicate, didn't keep a high line. 50-yard balls were beating them over the top. Wheels, you showed it at halftime, a ball in the air, not clear, not getting goal side, being lackluster. That can't happen in the CPL. This is a lesson. This is a wake-up call saying, look, you got to take care of business. You can't have passive defending, and you have to really go after for you to be a team that isn't fifth or goes for the championship.
All right. I think the cables, everything's all been connected. I think he can hear us now. Will, can you hear us? Thumbs up.
Hey, congrats.
There you go. I see the smile.
I can hear you. I can hear you.
All right. What did...
How are you guys?
We are fantastic. We're talking about you. How are you feeling? What did your team just accomplish here tonight?
You know, like we told them they'd have to suffer and that they'd have to enjoy it and they'd have to learn to grow as a unit. And really, this game, tactics and all the things, it does sometimes come down to people just digging in and supporting each other. Our motto was give to each other for the whole time. And, you know, if we could get out of that first half at a draw, we obviously did better than that, then we'd have something to be forcing Valour to think about. So, for us, it was just every guy doing what they were supposed to do.
Will, what was your pre-game talk to the boys today? Because they came out firing. I almost want to book a flight west and go play for TSS Rovers myself. What did you say to these guys to get them going today?
Welcome to the party. Well, you got to believe, man. There's a bunch of guys out there that think that they deserve an opportunity, and I can't disagree with them. They're putting themselves in the shop window. They're Canadians. They're presenting themselves at every turn. Guys are taking their jobs. They want this. You have to show up. And if you want that, then this is your opportunity. You're on national television. Show up. There's tape for life. This game is in the books, and they did it. And now my phone is on, and anybody in that league can call me, and I'll happily pass them on and get them a good player.
Amazing. I mean, that's what it's all about. Such a great community out there that you have, the support that you have, like everything kind of played in your favor tonight. But despite that, like, was there a moment in the game, through the game tonight, where it finally hit you that the dream's going to come true and we're actually going to go on and win this game? Was there a moment?
No. Right until the end, we started throwing balls up there to guys that are, very big. You got to dig in on those moments, second balls. Listen, I'll tell you what, Matteo Polisi tasted the championship in the CPL. He's been there. He led the boys out today. I knew he was going to just show up. I knew he was going to show up. He feels like someone gave up on him. Well, we didn't. He's a Rover for life. And let me tell you, that's the kind of guy you need in the middle going, I'm willing to give my body for this game. Tactically, we had to take advantage of our moments. I think I heard you guys say, you got to take your chances, and we said that in the dressing room. Until the very last whistle, though, we had to tackle. We had to win the ball. We had to win the seconds. We had to pressure the ball. So all of those things matter in this game, and it's not a painting on a tactics board. It's actually belief.
Well, and I was actually going to ask that, though, tactically, because the emotions, obviously rightfully so, is what we're discussing, because this is such a big moment. It's like the miracle inside Swangard Stadium. But from a tactical perspective, I mean, was there a certain way you wanted to approach Valour based on how you even saw them perhaps play over the weekend against York? Where did you feel you could expose some spots there?
Well, there's a couple things, Andy. It's a good question, and I don't think we talk enough about tactics in our country. And I would just say that we had a plan. We wanted to try and take advantage of little guys that we had getting on the ball in the half turn, in the half spaces, around the six. Their defensive midfielder. It works sometimes. We didn't have the ball enough to really make it work, but some spaces in behind right and left back, because we thought they're going to be protagonists and move forward. If we could keep the big guys in the middle and take advantage of going around the sides when we got a chance. And we did it a couple times, and we finished it off, so that's good.
We'll let you go have a good time, but we got to ask you before you go. Pacific Cavalry, who do you want to face, and how far can you take this?
It's like Dan Klomp and Mason and then Diddich. It's like, yeah, I'm going to go have a beer and I'm going to see. I'll talk about that later, guys. I'll take any one of them, but at the same time, I don't want any one of them. But good luck to them both, and we'll see you guys later.
Awesome.
We'll find out tomorrow who you'll be facing, but we'll go and enjoy the moment because it really is something special here tonight.
Thanks, guys. Really appreciate the support.
Well done.
Well done. Amazing.
Well done.
Woo! All right, so here's the updated bracket. They now have to wait. Who are the TSS Rovers going to face? Pacific Cavalry. They play tomorrow. That's not going to be easy. I mean, Pacific, TSS, from a BC perspective, that's a nice little rivalry there, Jordo.
That's poetic. That's what I would want to see, if I'm being honest. A packed stadium. You get to play another BC or Vancouver team. I'd like to see it.
Yeah, but, I mean, who do you pick there? You can't. Pacific, they're league champions. Cavalry, perennial contenders. Either way, there's the updated look. There's the quarterfinal is really starting to round out. 3-1 is the final here. TSS Rovers took a 2-0 lead into the half. They capitalized again to make it 3-0. Valour pulled one back. Too little, too late. Fans are partying. Your eyes do not deceive you. Full-time stats. It's TSS Rovers moving on to the quarterfinal of the Canadian Championship. 3-1. They defeat Valour here tonight despite 33% possession. That's been the story of the semi-professional teams here in the Canadian Championship. Vaughan, as well as Laval, they did not have possession, but they couldn't get the goals either. TSS Rovers, they got them. Getting a brace here tonight. Matteo Polisi joining us here. Gatorade Player of the Match. Congratulations on the win. This is absolutely huge. When you stepped out on the pitch, just take me through the flow of the game, how it started, when you started to score goals, and when you thought to yourselves, we're going to win this.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, the belief started before the game even started. As a collective group, we knew going into the game it was going to be difficult, but we were going to take it minute by minute, half by half, and we knew that we were up for the challenge, and it was going to be a long game, but we knew that anything's possible in football. It doesn't matter. It's 11 human beings on the field against another 11. No one's special, and anything can happen, and we proved that tonight.
You were on flames tonight, brother, controlling the midfield, scoring a brace, nearly had a hat trick. Do you feel like since you've played in the CPL and you've played for Pacific for 2 years, that you hold a bit of, that you're the veteran, a leader with these young boys that you're playing with?
Yeah, I mean, I've played 2 years with Pacific and wasn't able to pick up a contract in the off season. So I have a little bit of experience in the league, and so I'm just trying to use that within the group that we have here and lead the boys, and I think I did that tonight.
Walk us through that, Mateo, because oftentimes Canadian soccer, it's a struggle at times. You're continually having to prove yourself just to get a chance. How much of a motivation is that for you, and how did you bring that into tonight's game? Because, you know, it's humbling, this sport, oftentimes, and it just seemed like you had that much more to prove, and you went out there and showed the country coast to coast to coast tonight what you're all about.
Yeah, I mean, football is brutal sometimes. You can come in and out of the game, and I didn't play a lot with Pacific my second year, and it was tough for me to pick up a contract. So I'm just trying to use these opportunities to prove to people that I still belong in the league, and I'm still working every single day to get back to where I want to be.
The fans so close to the pitch had to have been great. You jump into their arms. What was it like having the fan support here tonight? What was it like also knowing John Herdman, head coach of the Canadian men's national team, was in attendance? Does it make it more special?
It's a great celebration.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, honestly, it's just pure emotion when I scored that goal, and I jumped up into the fans, and it's just a pure adrenaline rush. It's just unbelievable, and John Herdman, actually, I saw him walk into the stadium actually while we were warming up Yeah, I guess it gave me a little bit of extra motivation. Of course, he's the national team coach, and everyone dreams to play for the national team, so we'll see maybe one day.
Tonight, Canada has truly been introduced to TSS Rovers. A lot of people across this country are not really sure what the club's all about. What does this club mean to you? And what should Canada know about what's going on with the club right now?
Yeah, TSS Rovers. It's a great club in Lower Mainland. Actually, I played with the club back when I was with SFU in the summer with USL when it was USL. So I just came back and joined when I couldn't get a contract. So the club is great. I mean, they've welcomed me back with open arms, and they just want me to get back to where they think I belong. And they're just trying to do everything they can, give me an opportunity, and it's been awesome, honestly. I'm just trying to enjoy my football again as well, and TSS is definitely giving me that opportunity.
Well, you're going to have another opportunity to move on again in the Canadian Championship because you're off to the quarterfinals. Now you just await your opponent. It'll either be Pacific or Calgary. But Mateo, enjoy the evening. Congratulations on the brace and the victory. A well-deserved result here tonight.
Well done.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Think he wants to play Pacific?
I think so.
Has something to prove.
Oh, I think
Listen, you got a little chip on your shoulder. Why not? I love it. I love that, you know, you talk about not being able to get a contract. The game's cruel, but you still have something to prove. He sees Herdman walk in during warm-up. He's like, yeah, maybe that motivated me. Why not? I love it. Love it, love it, love it. That's tomorrow at 10 p.m. ET, and then we'll finally round out our quarterfinal in the Canadian Championship bracket. The hugs, the kisses, the celebration continues. We'll put a bow on it when we return here on One Soccer. Well, you heard Rovers coach Will Cromack say it wasn't until that final whistle went that he fully believed they had won and that he could actually start to breathe again. That's right, history here for the first time ever in the Canadian Championship. A semi-pro team beats a pro team and moves on. How special was this night?
So special. I'm just so impressed with the way that they took it to them. They didn't sit back. They were not tentative. They played their football, and you saw the joy grow and grow and grow. And I encourage more semi-pro teams to go into this tournament with that type of flavor.
The Canadian Championship, the Voyageurs Cup, is alive and well. The only thing that was missing was the fans storming the field. That's it. That's all we missed tonight.
Which normally we don't encourage, but on a night like tonight,
oh, they should have.
That would have been
They
a
own
ton
the
of
team.
fun.
They should have.
This is true.
They're all shareholders.
Yeah, this is actually very true. 3-1 TSS Rovers defeat Valour FC. Just one more game to go tomorrow between Pacific and Calgary, and then the quarterfinals are all drawn up in the 16th edition of the Canadian Championship with all the knockout games right here on One Soccer. What a great night, Canada. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next time.